Lewis Library at UNT Health Science Center. In today's short tutorial, I am going to show you how to request interlibrary loan items through the library's catalog. We're going to start on the library's main page, which is library.unthsc.edu. Before I get into the catalog search, I do want to point out that under the Services tab, you can click on Interlibrary Loan to get a little bit more information about ILL. You can see that the turnaround time is typically between 1 to 4 business days. This is especially true for electronic items. If you are requesting a physical item, it does take a little bit longer for the physical item to be shipped to us. So we see a turnaround time there of typically between 1 to 2 weeks. Items that you can request through ILL include print books, ebook chapters. We cannot do entire ebooks through ILL. We are limited to chapters. You can request articles through ILL. These are typically requested and delivered electronically. You can also request theses and dissertations through ILL. These are a little bit harder to get, but we have been successful in the past with getting these. And physical media can be requested, DVDs, CDs, audiobooks, and other media like that. We can't request these items as streaming media. They can only be delivered physically to the library. If you have any questions on any of these other sections regarding ILL, due dates, renewals, late fees, turnaround time, picking up and returning your item, or tracking your ILL request, you can click here and find out more information about it. Many of these items are specifically about physical items because you typically don't have due dates with any of your electronic items, and you wouldn't renew them or have late fees. But if you need any more information, these are here for you. Below them are ways to submit ILL requests. One way is to go directly into your library account to submit the request. And this is if you already have the article or book information, because you will have to manually enter the information yourself. We're going to look at what the request itself looks like a little bit later. You're going in here, you to go directly to the catalog to conduct a search and request from those items, which is what I'll be showing you in a little bit. You can also submit requests from Scopus or PubMed, which will then direct you back to your library account. The reason we are not focusing our search on Scopus or PubMed today is because the results here are a little bit limited. You won't get as many results through Scopus or PubMed as you would get through the library catalog, especially when books are involved. So that's why we're going to go ahead and use the library catalog today. However, if you do need more information regarding any of these others, you can just click on their tab and you can go through a process here to find out more information, and screenshots are available to help you out. Now I'm going to go back to the main page and go down to the search in the center. I have the option of searching the total catalog, focusing on just ebooks, or focusing on e-journals or articles. I am going to go ahead and search the total catalog because I can limit my results while I'm doing the search there. I'm going to start by searching for a book that I'm not sure if the library has. If they do, great. If not, I'm hoping I can submit an ILL request for it. I don't need the entire title because the library's search is pretty intuitive, and I should be able to get a good result with the majority of the title and the keywords in there. The library search is already defaulting to searching only the UNTHSC library. So this is how you're going to see if we have it. If it is not showing up here, you would go ahead and expand to the libraries worldwide. When I look over here, I'm actually finding the book I wanted. So I can click View eBook, or I can go into the library to check it out in person. When you click on the record, you are going to see that you do have access to requesting it through Interlibrary Loan. However, if you request a book that we do have access to, and that we currently have electronic access to, we will typically cancel your request and email you to let you know we have access to it, and we will provide you the link to this record where you can view the ebook. You will see that I actually have another button here, which is Staff ILL. You typically won't see this button. I'm a library staff and I'm currently logged into my account, so because of that, I have an extra button appearing. You will usually only see View ebook or Access, an Access option here if we have the item, or if we don't have the item, you will see the request through Interlibrary Loan down here. All right, so now I'm going to go back into another search. I'm going to search for another book. We may or may not have this book. We don't. This is going to help me show you how to do an ILL. So once again, it defaults though to UNTHSC libraries. I know it's a book, so I am actually going to limit to book now, because unlike the previous search, it's not actually showing up with what I want. These are all articles. They're book reviews for the book I want, but they're not the actual book. So I'm going to go ahead and limit to book and see if one of the two books listed here is the book I want. It's not. So now this is when I need to go ahead and expand to libraries worldwide to find that book. So I know I'm probably going to have to do an ILL request for it since I'm not finding it here at HSC. So if I go down past the two records that I know HSC has, I am finding the book now, Broken Bones: Anthropological Analysis of Blunt Force Trauma. I can see a few different records for it. Unfortunately, these are all ebook records. If I keep going, I'm not finding those records anymore. So I'm going to go back up because this first record here for it was actually telling me that there are other editions and formats available. So I'm going to open that up. I know I'm looking for the second edition, which was published in around 2013. In here, I have 909 libraries have this ebook, which looks like it's the edition I want, but I can't request the ebook. However, below that is a print book, also published in 2013. 70 libraries have it. Your most popular results are going to be up here, the ones where most libraries hold those items. The lower you go, the less libraries have the items if it's the edition you want. You can see 463 libraries have that, but it's because it's the first edition. I'm not looking for the first edition. Here's the first edition in print here as well. I have a few more options with 2014. The difference here versus 2013 is it looks like the book went into another print in 2014 for the second edition, but there's not very many libraries who have this. So I'm going to go back up to that second option here where 70 libraries have that print book, and I'm going to click on it. This is going to take me to the item record. I'm going to see that I don't have the option of accessing it through HSC. I don't have it in print at HSC. It doesn't tell me anything about that. I'm going to double check the information. It is the second edition. The title matches, the author is correct. So this looks like the book I'm looking for. Once again, your option for your button, you will typically only see this blue button here. You're not going to see the staff ILL. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Request through Interlibrary Loan. If you are not already logged in, you will have to authenticate with your EUID and password. You will typically see a screen that will ask you it will ask you if you are UNTHSC affiliated or non-user. If you are a staff, student, or faculty, you are affiliated. So that's the button you would pick. Then it will have you log in through your EUID and password, and it will bring you to this screen. So it already pre-populates all of the information for you. The only information you actually have to enter is if you actually just want a title of the chapter. If there's one chapter you wanted, just put that in there. If you want the full book, though, there is no reason to change anything. You picked the record. If there's any problem with the record, we can typically correct it on our end, but all the other information here is already done for you. You're asking for a loan because it is a print book that you're requesting to get mailed to you. Amount willing to pay, you don't have to fill this section out. Typically, we don't charge for ILL, and if for any reason there's an ILL charge, we will reach out to you before we charge. We never charge without your permission, and it's very rare that we have to do that. The request button is at the very bottom of the page, and as you go further down, this is where you start to get to your personal information, your first and last name, your email address, your phone number. I'm not going to go ahead and keep going further because that will be my personal information, but at the very bottom of the screen is the submit button, which you will push. This personal information here also cannot be edited the way this information can. The only edited section down here would be your phone number, but we typically won't reach out to you via your phone number. We will typically email you if we have any questions on your request. Once you are done with that request, you can go ahead and exit out. If you have more searches to do, you can conduct more searches. So I'm actually going to go back in here and do a search for a journal article. The request process for journal articles is not going to be any different. Now, I do retain my filters when I'm searching, so I can actually go back to only searching HSC libraries. Since I'm looking for a journal article, I'm actually going to take off book so that I can open up the others. And I'm going to pick article, and I'm just going to put in a few other limiters so that I can have a specific type of article that I'm looking for. And then I'm going to see what our library actually has. And there's actually 3,000 results in the HSC library. So I might actually be able to use some of these because there are quite a bit. I have to dig a little bit through them. Sometimes you're going to find that there are articles here for you to access, but you can't actually access them. There won't be a view PDF or view full text link. You should typically see these when we have them. But if you see, this is one that doesn't have one of those buttons. I'm going to click on that record and I'm going to look at it, and I decide that I actually like this article and I do need this article, but there's no way for me to access it. I will click the Request through Interlibrary Loan button. It's going to take me back to my account. It already pre-populates. I go all the way down, pass my personal information, and click Submit. Same process if I'm looking through my search results and I'm just not seeing what I need through the HSC library, I decide to expand to libraries worldwide. Once I find an article I like, if it's not held here where I can view it, I would go ahead and just request it through Interlibrary Loan. So if you do not see a view full text or view PDF option, or if the options are dead links that you can't actually access through, please submit your ILL request. If you do have the ability to go through to a database and see that item, there you do not need to request the item through ILL. But if you cannot access it, if there is no option to access it, please request what you need through ILL and we can